Hello everyone, in today's video I thought we'd do things a little out of order. There's this really cool Reno air racing expansion pack that just came out, and I said, you know what, let's try it out and see what it's going to be like. So what I hope to do today is quickly go through the 4 different airplanes. Keep in mind I have no experience flying any of these. This one we did try a previous first impressions. What's that? First impressions video that went pretty well, though honestly I got to work on my landings on this thing a lot. We of course have 3 other airplanes too, which I have very little experience with, except for, like I said, on DCS, but we'll talk about that once we get there. So first things first, we have this Pitts. This is the S1S. This is the single-seater version of the Pitts. I'm gonna go on. I feel claustrophobic. I'm not even a VR. This is in the biplane class, and if I recall correctly, this thing has an unbelievable rotation rate on this thing. So it'll be super fun to actually try the sucker out. Can I get it stuck? No, can't get it stuck. Bummer. So let's go ahead and give it a try. We can give this thing a nice little smooth power. All right, now my instincts tell me I have to pull to the right and hit my right foot in order to get this thing. Just kidding. All right, so I can already tell you right now, as I mentioned when we did our first impressions video when this one came out, I find it very interesting that Microsoft released this in such a way that they give this one to you for free for everybody, but you have to get the other 3, you have to actually buy the full expansion. Interesting. All right, first thing I noticed, as you noticed before, is, man, is this thing incredibly, unbelievably sensitive. So what we're going to do for each one of these planes is we're going to do a quick little racing pattern here and kind of give it a try, and then we'll come and land the thing if we can and kind of go back from there. So I'm going to build up as much speed as possible. I'm already at my RPM limit. Oh my gosh, this thing's sensitive. I've complained about this before, but whoo-wee. I'm down at the end of runway 24 here. We'll go ahead and take a nice tight turn. Oop, 2700 is way past the red line here. Pull that RPM back. 2700, much better. All right, we're getting quite a bit of turbulence. Let's go ahead and turn this thing. Not that it needs any introduction to how fast this thing can turn. Go ahead and take my first turn, look at the side. We're going to go ahead and take our second turn. And we'll do some quick barnstorming while we're at it. Nice and low. Now, the thing is, if I mounted a lawnmower on this thing, I bet you I could cut grass with it. All right. Again, I'm fighting the trim a lot on this thing because it is just ferociously sensitive. I imagine the controls in this plane are really, really, really light. But again, I have no way of knowing as far as weight goes, not as far as how sensitive they are. We've very, very well established this thing is absurdly sensitive. All right. There's the little pole there. Again, I'm holding the absolute maximum power here, doing a little bit of barnstorming. I am not shaking the plane around, that's just normal turbulence. All right, we come to the end of runway 6 here. We'll go ahead and take a nice sharp turn. And we're expected to black out for a second there. And we'll cut the power, and we're bringing in for landing. Okay, so wow, that is sensitive. It's definitely something you can get used to, though. All right, let's swing us around to the end of the runway here. Last time I tried to land this thing, I ended up taking 2.5 miles of Boston to do so. Hopefully I can bring it a little bit slower. I'm going to keep this out of ground effect a little bit longer this time until I get this plane a lot slower. Come on. There it goes. Now it's starting to get heavy. All right, nose up. I'm running out of elevator. Ooh. All right, that's the strategy. So when I go to make my How to Fly this movie later on, the trick is slow down, and then the thing lands actually really nicely. All right, pretty cool indeed. I like this one. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to fly it too often. It's just a little too much for me, but I could definitely see some fun barnstorming with it. Let's see what else Microsoft has given us in this little racing pack. Oh, why, hello there. This one certainly looks familiar. This is the L39. This is the Albatross. Folks who've flown up DCS or even seen me fly DCS probably know that this is definitely an old hand as far as aircraft performance goes. I'm looking around. I definitely see a lot of things I remember here. I think it's great that they have all like the old school switches. You have the different oxygen. You have the emergency. You have this really irritating parking brake that you probably remember. There's 2 different levels to the parking brake, and now I'm never going to be able to get it disengaged. Hey, there we go. Sweet. Of course, have the ability to, of course, I'll make a... What? Is that on? Oh, okay. All right. Weird. Whatever. Park and brake on. We have all our old switches. I can't wait to play with these. This is going to make a super fun video. We have the good old landing layer lever, which, of course, if you're in the back seat, I don't know if I can get back there. Let me in. Let me in. Bummer. It won't let me get in the back seat. In the back seat, you actually see the 3-position version of this, but I'll take the 2-position here. I love how they have the... Oh, there's no cannon switch. Where's the cannon switch? Oh, well. Good old-fashioned ACHS M1. I can't wait to play with this right here. G-meter. Oh, this is new. A GPS thing in the middle. I also appreciate how everything's in English. Looking down, not everything is. One thing I noticed immediately is this is kilometers, which is a little bit different. So already this is going to be messing with my head quite a bit looking down at there. Looks like we have good old feet there. We have a radar altimeter. Looking in the middle, it the world's most confusing HSI. We actually have some really neat things. Pretty confident with that one. Oh, we have ourselves the old RSBN technology here. Pretty solid little engines, kilogram per SM squared. Cool. We have our temperature gauge swinging on this side. All of our regular switches. I noticed all the important things. Oh, why can't I use the SDU? Nice to see some classic, looks like kind of a Western sort of style radios. We have our different navigational lights. Neat, you can turn them on different modes. Okay, we have the shut off the emergency system things. I like that. A couple different things. This would be for, of course, adjusting our directional gyro and stuff like that. Now, if I hit the brakes, is the thing going to go? Aw, too bad. All right, let's give this thing a try. Go ahead and give it full power here. Give it a moment to catch up. Yeah, that's different. Okay, this must be like a souped-up version of this plane, because this plane is definitely not normally accelerating that quick with the engine. At least in DCS, it doesn't. So I'm looking down on my left here. I see that I passed the number 10. I don't actually know what that reference is. Actually, it's kilometers per hour, so that must be 150 kilometers an hour. That's 200 kilometers an hour. We're looking for about $1.40 or so before we can get that nose up. There we go. Oopsie daisy. Slap up that landing gear lever. And off we go. Go ahead and bring up the flaps. Yeah, so the one thing I noticed very different about this from the one over in DCS is the fact this one is just a little heavier. You know, I ran the controls and the thing just kind of, it takes its time, but there's nothing wrong with that at all. One thing I do remember, of course, over from DCS is not overheating the engine, but it seems to have some kind of limiter on it because I'm kind of smacking it in. Yes, 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 I don't need a touch and go away. I'm noticing it's it's very, very, very responsive engine, which is kind of interesting because it's not how I remember it. So anyway, this is a jet, and it's supposed to be a racing jet, so let's do some quick racing. We'll do the same pattern we did in the last airplane here. We'll come ripping down the side at very, very dangerously low altitudes, and then we'll come swing around the other way. One thing I appreciate on this one is the stick looks just like the real stick. My finger is dying to press the button on the front of it so that it flips up the little switch there so I can start firing the cannons, but it's probably not something that I can do in this version. All right, we picked up a lot of speed. This thing really accelerates compared to the DCS version. DCS version, especially if you're carrying any sort of ordnance, it does not accelerate. All right, full throttle. Let's bring ourselves down to barnstormer altitude here. Tons of down trim. All right, line ourselves up with the ground here. It says I'm doing 318. I don't think this plane can go that fast, but again, what do I know? This is great. So we're going to have to turn this thing into a Chandelle in order to safely get us around this corner. Oh my gosh, that's quite G-forces. Oh, okie dokie then. Whew, that was fun. All right, let's swing us back down here. We'll make our way down. So that's definitely a wider turn than his buddies here. Doing 280 over the ground right now, which is completely illegal, but too bad. It's definitely not as sensitive as its DCS version. All right, looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and bring this thing into a landing now. Smoothly pull back. Couldn't do this in DCS. Gear down. Flaps down. Speed brake down. Slip. That was fun. Oh, it doesn't like this. Anybody else just see what I just pulled off? That's pretty good. But again, I've had some practice with this one over in DCS, so I kind of know what it can do. And we're about to go bang on the back tires here. Ah, we're here. That's cool. Oh man, I cannot wait to fly this thing cross country. I'm just super nervous that none of the navigational things actually work. This is supposed to be the air racing version of this airplane, so it kind of makes me... Can I get rid of this? Nice. So let me just see some... Oh, master arm. What do you mean I can't activate the weapons? Where's my gun sight? Bummer. So let's see here. We have conventional. We have the CDI where we can pick it, but do we have the ability to actually change it? Oh, nice. It actually identifies the frequency for me, which is awesome. And we don't have... Oh, that's no good. Hopefully the guy in the back seat's got a couple more controls. Sweet. Can't wait to see what they're offering us next. As if this airplane needs an introduction. P-51D. I cannot get over how teeny tiny the pilot is sitting inside of this thing. It's like a gigantic... Holy smokes. It's like flying around on a Boeing 747. It's just your little tiny head sticking out of the top here. So looking around the inside, this is definitely P-51 territory for sure. Looking at all these old gauges and all the old instrumentation. Oh, man. This is so crazy. Oh, man, yeah, I definitely know this switch. Oh, yeah, this is bringing back DCS memories for sure. We have a little... those don't work. I'm sure the panel lights work. Okay, that's super cool. We have the engine cooling. I wonder if we have to actually do the engine cooling kind of manually here. We have a carburetor air control, which apparently we don't have to worry about that in this one. Cool. All right, P-51s. This is the racing version too, so we're going to have to kind of be careful and take off here. So let's see how we do this. Let's go ahead and pop up a couple. Oh my gosh, that's sensitive. Yikes. Go ahead and release the parking brakes there. We're going to smoothly... Oh, okay, that's sensitive. Go ahead. Oh man, that thing's up rumbly plane. Supposed to be slightly tail low. 60 inches. And we're on our way. All right, now if I recall correctly, P-51s do one of those as soon as you get going. That's why you need a lot of rudder trim on this thing. All right, we're just going to pull back gently, and the plane's going to come up on its own. Nice. You're up. Big old lever for that. I'm not going to worry about it. Go ahead and snap those flaps up. I love the visibility on this plane. Ah, that's awesome. Normally, I think the P-51, I'm probably wrong in this, but I believe you're supposed to press and hold for the flaps, but I'll take what I can get here. Let's go ahead and exercise the engine a little tiny bit here. Love the lighting. That's just so slick. And I also like the fact that the instrumentation is classic. You know, I'm not seeing like a GPS anywhere in here. As a matter of fact, I don't even know. Oh, no. I do have one modern radio and a transponder. And I have the old fuel tanks. Nice. One thing we do want to do, though, so we do want to see if the fuel tank gauge is in the correct spot. Nice. Right there on the floor where you cannot see it. Cool. Let's go and give this thing a try. Oh. Oh. Okie dokie then. That was not what I had expected. So this thing has a real weight in its controls, though, something I was not expecting. I gave that thing a little bit of a tug, and the thing was like, whoopsie daisy. A little bit of down trim here. Get ready for my acceleration. Let's bring it back up to 60 inches. And we'll go ahead and do our little air racing course that we've set up here. Oh my gosh, is this thing fast. Oh, wow. That's got some speed to it. I think this might actually be faster than the jet we just tried. All right, it's a little on the sensitive side. It's not quite as touchy as it is in DCS, that is for sure. It's got kind of, like I said, like a weight or a damping to it. All right, cruising along here, pretty low to the ground. This thing, oh my gosh, are we moving. Watch out for the trees. Here we go. Into the first turn. I'm pulling the stick all the way back to my chest. Okay. All right, I'm going to have to get some practice with this thing. This thing's a little sensitive. I kind of wish I had an old modern navigational display on it, but I'll take what I can get. I notice my coolant temperature right now is way into the red. I don't know if aircraft engine stress is modeled correctly, but this would definitely be a good time for it. All right, let's go ahead and put this thing on the ground and see what happens. Coming to the run here, coming to the run. Go ahead and pull that nose up. Oh my gosh. Okay, I wasn't expecting that thing to just go like that. And we're going to slow down. Left foot. Right aileron. I think we just did a tail stand by accident. Oh my gosh. It won't depart. Come on. Come on. That's intense. Oh man, is this thing. Wow. Wow. Okay, I was not expecting quite that much performance out of a P-51 at this altitude. I'm going to have to fly myself out of my really nasty spot here. My engines are actually, I'm going to pull my throttle all the way back down here. Let's go ahead and increase my RPM. Come swing us around. We got to get a little bit slower before we can drop the gear. Say hi to all the nasty warehouses. I think they just put a, yeah, that's right. All right, come around. I'm really nervous with this thing departing because I've had some bad experiences with P-51s in games before. All right, we'll swing around this way. Swing around this way. Let's go ahead and get some flaps in. Those up just a tiny bit. Come on. Come on. Now, my experiences with P-51s and landings are basically, if your head is not straight when you land, you're never actually going to get this thing. Oh, sorry, wheels. You're never actually going to get the thing to settle properly. Because you really got to get that angle perfect. 3 point. Give me the 3 point. 3 point. How many landings does that count as? Not bad for having never actually flown one of these things. Now we get to do the tail dragger, don't smack the propeller game. All right. That's okay. I like it a lot. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our last but not least here. Oh man, look at how brumbly this thing is. This is cool. This is definitely a T6. I'm looking at the side of it. Piston healing. Oh, I like that. This is a super cool training plane from World War II. Definitely still have a few of these kicking around. Looking around the interior, I already love it because everything is just like mechanical and old-fashioned and, vacuum systems and cleaner. It's just interesting. I like the big old cylinder head, temperature gauge, carburetor. Oh my gosh, look at this. Let's see, we got some controls for guns and bombs. Oh, we have our, oh man, this thing is just, it's so, look at, which handle would you like to grab onto? I mean, look at how just industrial this thing is. Love it. Coming over on this side, we have all, okay, these would be our radio buttons. We have, let's see here, some VHS. Not Betamax. We have the range in both. Okay, this is cool. I can't wait to play around with some of the navigational side of this thing. Compass calibration, of course. Can we actually cage this? Oh, nice. Gonna need to do that a few times, I'm sure. Looking down here, we do have an RPM gauge mixture, and we do have the big old-fashioned throttle. Hydraulic landing gear. I can watch my pressure. Oh, look at this. There's a whole thing that tells you the position. Let me play with this. Oh, that's neat. All right, let's give it a try. I'm going to go ahead and apply smooth power here. This was a training plane, and one of the old-timers who used to work with me at the Air Museum had actually stated that if you could learn to fly this plane, pretty much any World War II plane was not bad. Okay, it definitely doesn't have the get up and go of the P-51, that is for sure. And we are up. Positive rate. Let's go ahead and slap up the gear. I'm going to look at this little instrument down here. This thing is so cute. Look at this. Look at this. Yeah, that's so cool. I like that. Nice touch. Again, I've never flown one of these before either. All right, so first thing I'm noticing is it's got some giddy up, let's go, but it's not excessive. At least that's kind of what I'm feeling right away. Taking a look down at the manifold pressure gauge. It says I'm doing 40, so we're definitely boosted here. Let's go ahead. Oh, look at that good old-fashioned rondel. Come swinging around the runway here. All right, not bad, not bad, not bad. It definitely feels to be the most stable and safe of all the planes we've been flying with. The L-39's not bad either. Let's come running to the end of the runway, and we'll go enter into our little fake course here. I'm swinging around this way. Give everybody a little bit of a tug, and let's see how it is in the turn. Oh, that's nice. Oh, okay, that's actually pretty nice. That's super smooth. All right, let's bring us down to a danger level here. Let's up a little bit of down trim. Yeah, we're just going to come ripping along here. So I'm looking down at my airspeed indicator. I'm already doing 200 miles per hour. I'm picking up an awful lot of turbulence, which is interesting because I don't remember turning the wind on, but hey, that kind of thing happens, doesn't it? Take a look at the wind signs there. It's going to be a heck of a tough turn coming up in a second, so we'll see exactly what happens. Ready, go. Go ahead and get that turn in. Make sure you coordinate the turn carefully, otherwise you will depart in the bad way. Wow, this thing really turns fast. I'm actually like legitimately impressed by how quick this thing will actually turn. Not that I want to get in a dogfight with like an Focke-Wulf 190 or anything with it, but at the very least, I know if I need to turn in an emergency, this thing will handle it pretty well. Come scooting along the ground here. Okay, not too bad. Not too bad. I wonder how the people at the airport feel. Well, we keep giving you guys all these nice planes, and all you do is zip them around the runway at high speeds. So, all right, let's go ahead and try it out. Go ahead and take this turn. Keep it super coordinated. Left foot. A little too much left foot. A little more right foot. And we're good. Let's put her on the ground. Nose up. And nose down. Let's go ahead and dump the flaps all the way down. I'm actually kind of surprised that the rudder is not nearly as strong as I'd expect it to be. Whoa, boy. There's your departure. Again, I have no idea what the speeds of these airplanes are. I'm filling them out each time. Okay, looks like we're good here. All right, coming down. I love this little gauge down here. This is like the cutest little thing. Anyway, let's go put ourselves on the ground. We got a spare lamp, which apparently just chills. All right, let's see what we got here. I'm not going to go for the two-pointer. That propeller looks like something that will smack into the ground if I do a two-pointer here. A little bit of crosswind, nothing too scary. I barely have any power in right now. Oh, boy. The turbulence is catching up to me here. Ready? Are we going to touch the ground? There it is. And we did the two-pointer anyway. Oh, well. Cool thing with two-pointers is you can play this little game where you basically hold the nose up while standing on the brakes at the same time. And then it goes like that. And then you're back on your tail. Wow. Okay, so thoughts. Let's see here. The T6 was definitely the most stable. It's also got this weird propeller glitch. I don't know what the deal with that is. Of the different airplanes I played, I definitely could see myself tooling around the countryside in something like this. The P-51, it's great, but I don't know. It's just not for me. The L-39, that's super duper duper cool because it's like the F-18, only it's a little bit more polite, and it definitely does not have the reach of the F-18. And of course, the pits, that's I don't know. There's probably a perfect use for that plane somewhere out there for me, and I just can't think of what that is. But other than that, this is pretty cool. And like you said, this one just went on sale, which is kind of neat. I believe it's $20 for the 4-pack that you just saw here. I know they have like a more expensive version, which has got all the different airplanes packed in. But my understanding is most of them are pretty much the same model. I could be wrong about that, but at the very least, you have a general idea of what to expect. Enjoy.